Oh, hi there, brand builders. Okay, I'm going to deviate a little bit from brand building and I want to talk about personal kind of development. And that's because brand building also includes personal brands, right? Every one of us is a brand. In fact, the brands that have a strong kind of core founder, a personal brand, are more successful than brands that are, that are more stuffy and they're more corporate. So today's topic is more about our personal kind of sabotage mindset. What are we really doing to not get the success that we deserve? In a lot of the cases, if you're looking at, let's say, from the context, from the perspective of launching a business, right? Or making a business successful. And I will talk about, let's say, entrepreneurs who are in their beginning stages or have been, in their business, doing their business for quite some time now, but are not seeing growth. They're not seeing, revenue, increase in revenue or sales or whatever. Now, all these entrepreneurs, even people in regular jobs, they come under one kind of umbrella when it comes to self-sabotage. Because self-sabotage is the biggest factor contributing to the lack of success in being an entrepreneur or starting your own business or just making more money. Okay, so what is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is when you are your own enemy. Of course, being your own enemy is not really easy to identify. In fact, 99% of the people cannot recognize that they're their own enemy because it's very easy to start to look around and try and find excuses or to blame things for our failures, for our kind of struggles. Now, granted, of course, there are things outside our control that, cause problems in our lives or in our businesses. Pandemic, for example. That's nobody's fault. And during the pandemic, many businesses shut down. Many more struggled. Many entrepreneurs gave up their dreams. And a lot more did not even get on the entrepreneurial kind of path because of what was happening around them. So I'm not talking about acts of God, pandemics, or financial crisis, stock market crashes. They're not acts of God, they are acts of men. But still, as far as we're concerned, as far as the average normal, you and me is concerned, they are act of God because we got no control over it. Now, beyond that, I'm talking about things that we do on a daily basis that actually undermine our success. The first one of them is, of course, procrastination. Now, procrastination is the biggest self-sabotage tool. So self-sabotage has several tools that we use, right? We use several tools to self-sabotage ourselves. And one of them is procrastination. And when it comes to procrastination, I'm not talking about procrastination of just not able to do tasks. No, I'm talking about from the context of a business, starting a business, doing things for your business that you're supposed to do, taking it to the next level. How does procrastination play a role in business? First thing is that a lot of entrepreneurs think that they need to have everything in place to start a business. Now, I'm going to contradict myself here because in one of the previous videos, I was talking about just do it, right? Just get out there. Don't wait to have a perfect name or to have a perfect strategy. Just get out of there and do it. And I still say the same, but I'm talking about the entrepreneurs who want to have everything perfect lined up. So they have a great idea for a product or service, and then they start out with developing that product, and they spend tons of time and resources and even money trying to perfect that product, the prototype, and then manufacturing before they even launch their brand. That is procrastination. Or is it? Right? Some of you might be saying that is not procrastination. That's just, trying to bring the best product into the market. Granted, you need to bring a good product into the market. Not the best, a good product. And then you add more features or you fine tune it. You got to do soft testing. You got to understand, because what is perfect? Maybe perfect in your opinion is not the same perfect as your audience, your customers. Do they really care about that single feature you're obsessing about? Have you done a poll? Do you have quantitative and qualitative information, evidence, empirical evidence to support that the time and money you're spending obsessing over one particular aspect of your business or your product or service is the one that is going to matter to your audience? If you do, fantastic. Then this video is not for you. Just move on, right? This is for the other percent of entrepreneurs who have no empirical evidence except for their gut feeling, which is good. Gut is fantastic in business. I'll do a separate video on that. Or they believe because they know the product so well. Now, here is the deal. Knowing your product is actually a handicap, because a lot of people know their business or their product so well. And the result is you go into their marketing, you check their marketing out, you check their website out. It's full of jargon. It's full of technical terms because they understand the product or service or the market segment or the field. They think that their audience also understands that market segment and they will understand what they're talking about. Not really. Your audience understands their pain points. They understand the problem that they have. They don't understand the solution. They don't understand the tech. In fact, that's why you're there in business, to provide the solution. But then don't talk about that, right? So anyway, I'm digressing here. So let's just retrace our step back. We were talking about procrastination. That's one of the biggest things. The next, maybe I can do a separate video on that, right? The next thing is, of course, fear. Fear is the mind killer. In fact, fear is probably worse than procrastination. And in fact, fear happens at all stages of your entrepreneurial journey, of your business journey. In fact, general life journey. The moment you get up in the morning until you struggle to fall asleep, you are plagued by fear. Fear is the single biggest factor contributing to misery in life. Okay. Now, fear, because, if you talk about the way human brain has evolved, right? For millions of years, we've been that lizard brain, right? You probably heard of this lizard brain, which is the millions of years old brain that's been trained for this flight or fight response, right? So back in the day, cavemen, you're out in the savannah, you're out in the desert, you're out in the jungle, wherever you are, and you hear a noise. You are going to take flight. You have to take flight because you don't know what that noise is. It could be a rattlesnake, right? It could be a deer that you can hunt and take home. But you don't know that. So your brain has evolved to take off because it's life and death matter. But then now, it's not so. Most of the things we do in life on a daily basis are not life and death. Running a business is not life and death. Yeah, it could be a life and death when if you don't do anything, you have no money, you become homeless, and you don't have food to eat, then yes, it becomes life and death. No, I'm talking about regular lives, right? It is not life and death. And yet, our lizard brain kicks in anytime. Let's say you get a phone call, right? You're doing a business, you get a phone call from your client, and they're like, you know what? We want a refund. Or we don't want to continue doing business with you. What then happens? The first thing is your heartbeat goes up. Yeah, your palms start sweating. Reminds me of Eminem song, right? 8 Mile. Your palms start sweating. I'm not a rapper. Anyway, so and then you start, getting sweat. Your brain freezes. What's happening there? The lizard brain kicks in. It's about taking flight. We want to run away. The best thing is, that's fear. The best thing to do is take a step back. Nothing is going to happen at that moment. Nothing is going to happen. Usually nothing is going to happen, right? There's no, life or death there. It's just a client. It's probably $100, a few $100, a few $1,000. Okay, yeah, okay. If it's a situation where you're losing your entire life savings, I understand. But let's not go to the extremes. Let's talk about the normal things, because these things happen every single day. So what happens there is that your brain freezes and you make decisions not based on critical thinking, but because of the limbic system, right? The lizard brain kicking in, telling you, get out. In fact, fear actually leads to our response, which is usually irrational. We either get angry or we try to fight back, blah, blah, blah. So fear is a mind killer. And let's now apply it to business. What kind of fears do people have in business? Starting a business is fear. There are so many people out there who have great ideas, who just have these ideas. They just have these ideas. And they plow through life, putting up with a job they don't like, living miserable, unfulfilled lives, and not starting that business. Of course, you could argue there are people who start the business and then fail, and then they end up even more miserable. But that's the gamble you need to take. With the fear, you need to take calculated risks. Get over that fear, the fear of starting a business. Even when you're doing a business, get over that fear of taking that leap to build your brand properly. Spending money on the right kind of infrastructure for your brand, spending money on making sure that the marketing is perfect. Okay, fear. So we're talking about self-sabotage and how we sabotage ourselves. We talked about procrastination. We talked about fear, which is the biggest thing. And then the third one is education, right? Now, a lot of people think they're educating themselves by going online. But what's happening is, increasingly, online is a noisy place. And there's so much information out there. A lot of it is complete crap, right? You might say, this video is crap. So be it. I could be talking bull crap here. But you got to take everything with a grain of salt. Educate yourself in the proper way. If required, spend money to educate yourself. But beware of people selling information online and saying, these business courses, these marketing courses, we will teach you how to go from, $1,000 to $100,000. A lot of these people, if they can do that, why are they not doing it? Well, they are doing it by running these courses, charging people, and that's where they're making their money, not in the principles applied to their own business, their own market segment, right? So beware of those people. But I'm talking about taking proper courses, evaluating, taking proper courses, learning the ropes of business, learning economics, learning how finance works. All these things will give you an idea of how to position your business, and so on and so forth. So stop sabotaging yourself. Stop self-sabotaging. This video is already 14 minutes long. So there's lots of topics, right? All these can be expanded on. And leave a comment below to say if you think that I should, maybe talk more about these things. If you think I should talk more about these things, then go ahead, leave a comment, and I will try and do more videos. Or if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, subscribe. And if I do more videos, I will send them out. But the important thing is that you understand the core value of what you're doing. And you understand that you are actually at the root of your success or your failure. And it's okay. Don't fall for this trap of this new wave of thinking where people are like, you don't need to be the best. You don't need to strive. You're good as you are. And, we're all equal. And no. Yes, they apply for human rights, certain human conditions, but not for the hard work that needs to go into building a business or a brand. Don't fall for that. You need to look at all these things. All right. I'm Mash Bonigala, a brand strategist. And, if you like this video, leave a like. If you have questions, leave a comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Till then, keep building your personal brand, keep building your brand, and prosper.